Wow. What an amazing group of people. I tell you, I am so excited for all of this. I, I'm just stunned and impressed by the leadership community of Twin Falls. All of you are super motivated leaders. I'm here to talk about that very topic, motivation and exactly what it means. Wouldn't any leader love to have a team of people just like all of you that are motivated to be at a business summit to learn about leadership at 8 o'clock in the morning? Many of you here were here at 7. I'm so impressed and honored. Thank you very much for letting me come and speak to you today. Motivation is a great thing. Everybody wants to be motivated. There's so many ways to motivate people. But what is motivation? Motivation is being moved by an external force. If you look it up in the dictionary, that's exactly what it says. Think about that. What motivates people? Paychecks. I tell you, I like money, right? Contests, games, recognition. All great things. But they get kind of exhausting and they don't last. Let me tell you a story. One time I had the opportunity, to vie for a promotion. This was going to be a huge deal in my life, right? When I looked at this, there was a great thing that I had to do. Huge accomplishment, numbers. I had to actually sell and perform. Everybody in my life told me, you're not ready. You can't do that. You can't hit those numbers. No way someone in your position can achieve that. But it meant so much to me that I knew I had to do it. I had 90 days to do more production than I'd done in the last year. And I didn't have a team big enough to accomplish it. But I was challenged, and I was given that opportunity to do it. And in 90 days, I produced 25% more than it took to accomplish my goal. I achieved a promotion. Forever changed my status in my company I was working with. In fact, it was a permanent, lifelong promotion. If I ever went back to that company, I would have that same pay structure. But you know what? Afterwards, after that was all said and done, my production went back to where it was before. The contest was over. The need to do that level of production was over. Does that mean that it's wrong for them to motivate me in that way? No. I think you should motivate your people. I think you should motivate them all the time. Zig Ziglar once said that motivation doesn't last, but neither does bathing, right? So that's why we recommend it daily. So I've got a couple of tips for you, things that I like to motivate people, right? Just a couple of ways that I really personally enjoy motivation to motivate others. There's hundreds of books on the topic and even more tactics, right? But these are just a few that I really like. First one is tracking your progress, right? Most people, right, they can't see the changes that they're making. Think about somebody that's going on a weight loss journey recently. When you're in the middle of this, it's really hard to see, I lost 2 pounds or I lost 3 pounds, and to see the difference in your face because you look in the mirror every single day. But take somebody that's lost, say, 20, 25 pounds and show them a before picture and an after picture of that difference. They're going to be stunned. And I assure you, they're going to get motivated to go even further, faster. Track your progress. My recommendation is to pick 3 or 4 KPIs, not more. You want to keep it really simple, something you can track easily. Post these results on a weekly basis on a scoreboard that they can see. They can see personally and watch those changes get made. Those KPIs are going to improve dramatically. And when they're on track, switch them up a little bit. My next one that I really like is gamification. There's a reason people play video games, you guys. There's a reason people love sports. People like to win. Most people don't have the opportunity to win in their everyday life. They go to work, they do a job, Some of them don't even like their job. They go home and spend time with their family, which is awesome. They go to bed and they do it all over again. So I challenge you to give them a way to win in life every single day. There's a lot of ways to do this. Go Out Social's got a really good article on gamification. But let me just tell you the simple way to do it. Take a game you like. Board game, card game, whatever it is that you enjoy playing. Even football, baseball, any other sport. Take the rules of that game, modify it to your business, and make a game out of it. Keep it simple so everybody can understand it, because when people are confused, they don't do anything. Make it clear so they know how to win and know when they're winning. And make the scoreboard public. Goes right back to that tracking the results, right? They need to know when they're winning. And quite frankly, when they're losing. Because that's a part of the game too. I can tell you when I was a kid, I used to play Super Mario Brothers. I don't know if anybody, you ever play that? You know, maybe aging myself, right? I got to the point where I had the levels literally memorized. I could play the first few levels without the TV screen. No joke, I could do it. I can't tell you how many times I had to lose to get to that point. And when I lost, when Mario went down the little hole or got eaten by the plant, that motivated me even more. Don't be afraid to let your people lose either, but make sure you give them the opportunity to win. And finally, the last motivational one that I want to talk about is recognition. Every single human being likes recognition. I want to stop and repeat that for just a minute. Every single person likes recognition. There are different ways that people want to be motivated or recognized, Some of them want to have their name in lights, right? Some people want to stand on stage. Some people want to have email blasts about them. But every single one of us wants to be recognized for our actions. Figure out the way that your people want to be recognized, and then shout from the rooftops when they succeed, when they do something right. When you catch them in the act of doing something right, make sure the entire world knows that you saw them doing that. And that'll motivate them. I'm sure every single one of you have your own favorite ways to motivate people, and I would cherish the opportunity to sit down and talk about that with you. I would love to sit down and go to lunch and learn all of the ways that you personally like to motivate people, because we could write our own book, right? There's hundreds of different ones, and they're all really good because they get exhausting. If you as the leader have to continually find new ways to motivate people and act on that all the time, I mean, you're human too, right? Thankfully, there's an easier way. And that's when you move from motivation to inspiration. See, inspiration is intrinsic motivation. It's when the motivation comes from within. It's when you no longer have to be acted upon by an external force to be motivated. It's when you motivate yourself. And when that happens, when somebody is truly self-motivated, it's like a fire that gets lit on their soul. And they can move mountains. The challenge is you, as a leader, have got to find that way to inspire them. Well, how do you do that? Well, by becoming an inspirational leader. There's a lot to unpack into this. It's a lifelong journey. There are countless articles, countless books talking about how to inspire people. My favorite one is by Bain Research. I don't know if you guys follow them or not. They identified 33 key characteristics of inspirational leaders. I've read this article, I don't know, probably 10 times. There's so much good information in there. If you're going to write things down, that's one to write down. 33 Traits of an Inspirational Leader by Bain Research. I want to share with you just a few ways that I have found that I focus on to become an inspirational leader. As a leader, you have to give people a reason and a place to succeed. How do you do that? I believe you do that by vision casting. You do that by giving them their place, giving them their area to succeed inside of your business. You have to have such a big vision, such a big purpose that each individual on your team can fit their vision inside of it. Get extremely clear about where you're going, where your business is going to go. 5 years, 10 years, maybe it's 20 years. But if you don't know where you're going, how can you take somebody along? Think about a road trip. You're going to get in the car and you're going to drive across the country. Miami. How are you going to get there? Are you going to go that way? Or are you going to go that way? What do you need to go along with it? If you don't have a very clear idea of exactly where you're going, why would anybody get in the car with you? You guys, there's a lot to unpack here. We could talk for 2 or 3 hours about creating a vision. That's not the purpose of this talk. But before you move forward, I highly recommend that you figure out exactly what it is that you want to accomplish. That's more than money. What is your purpose? Why do you get out of bed every single morning and go to work and go to do your job? Why do you run your business? Is it just to produce a widget? Is it just to connect some people to the internet? Is it just to make some money? I sure hope not. And I highly doubt it. Looking out at the audience, knowing some of you that I know personally, I know you're very passionate people. You have a reason to get out of bed at 5 a.m, go to work. You need to know what it is, but more importantly, you need to be able to tell the people around you. You need to be able to explain it clear enough that they understand. See, because when people have a mission and a purpose, there's nothing that'll stop them. When your people understand where they fit into your journey, they will move mountains to help you succeed. Show them where they fit and watch them light up. Next, give them the tools they need to flourish. Think about a tulip. What does a tulip need? It needs soil, right? It needs nutrients. It needs water. It needs you to trim some weeds occasionally. But if you give a tulip the nutrients, the environment that it needs, it'll flourish. It'll grow into a beautiful flower. And that exact same type of thing will happen with your people. If you have good people in your organization and you give them the tools that they need to succeed, they'll flourish. So invest in books, in training, in conferences, seminars, the Idaho Business Summit, which will be here next year, by the way. And watch them flourish. Every business is different, right? Every person is different. And if they are the right fit for the job, You should know the tools that they need to succeed. Your job as a leader is to give them those tools. Give them that training. Everybody should have a marketing budget. I really hope you do. Most businesses I talk to do. But every business should also have a training and development budget. Personally, I'm biased, okay? But I think it should be one of the biggest line items in your organization. Care about your people. Next. If you pour belief into your people and tell them honestly why you believe that they will succeed, they will get passionate about you and your business. This can't be a puff piece, though. People see through fake compliments. People see through ingenuine comments. They know when you're not being truthful. If you're just going, thanks for being here today. Yeah, I really like your shoes. Or, that was a fun class. No. Actually mean it. And have a reason that they are the right fit for their job. And don't be afraid to get personal with them if you need to. In fact, the more personal you can be, the better. A lot of people will tell you, you shouldn't be too close to your people. This is true. You still need to be able to be a boss at the end of the day, right? And if it's difficult and awkward, if you have to discipline somebody, yeah, that's rough. There is a line. But you need to know them well enough to know what their benefits are to the organization. Really how they're helping. And then talk to them about it. Tell them why they changed the organization. My business is better because you're here, and this is why. Thank you. I want to try an experiment with each of you for a minute. I debated whether or not to do this, but I just decided we're going to do it. Everybody in life, well, most people in life, there are a few people that don't, and it's sad, but most people in life have a person who believed in them, a person who cared, a person who knew you were special. Think about your childhood. Maybe it was a parent. Maybe it was a grandparent, an aunt or an uncle, a coach, a teacher. I want you to take a minute and just think about that person. For me, it was my grandma. I can see her. Can you see yours? I want you to take a minute, close your eyes, and think about a specific time that you made them feel proud. Something you did. And they recognized you for it. Man, how does that feel? I tell you what, when I think about that moment, I get so excited. I'm not going to tell you to write a lot of things down, but I want you to write that word down right now. That word that you just felt. What was it? Happy, excited. Maybe it's even sad if they're not here anymore. You can't feel that anymore with them. It's the first one I felt. She's gone. What would you do to feel that again? I can tell you what, there is not much I wouldn't do to have that person put her hand on my shoulder, look me in the eye, and say, Sonny, you did good today. I'm proud of you. Something wrong with our society these days. When we grow up, when we are adults, we lose that. We don't have it anymore. I don't know why it happens, it just does. Most of you probably don't have a person like that. Well, I'm here to challenge you, me to you, to be that person for your teammates. Imagine if every single person in your organization felt the way you feel about that person we just talked about you. What would happen if you asked a team of 10 people that feel that way to go through that wall? Nothing that would stop them. The only way that's going to happen is when they know that you care. And it's genuine. Become that person for your team. Theodore Roosevelt said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Care about your people. Even if that means helping them move on. There's an old business joke where the CFO says to the CEO, what if we invest in our people and they leave? And the CEO responds, what if we don't and they stay? You really want to have an organization of a bunch of people that are not motivated, that are not empowered, that are not successful? Sometimes the best thing you can do for a tulip is to pluck it out and move it to a different garden if it's growing in a bed of roses. You guys, if your people, going back to when I said that they are the best person for their job and that your business is better because they're in that role, if you can't truly say that, help them find a different role. Seriously. Even if that's in a different department or a different company. You are a better leader if you help them succeed, even if that's without you. I can't remember the movie, but I watched a movie, a love story one time. And my wife probably knows exactly the movie because she's great at that. But there was this guy who was in love with this girl, and she wasn't in love with him, but she felt committed because of their relationship. She was really in love with somebody else. And he released her from their marriage because she was going to be happier with another person. And his response, when asked, why did you do that? She would have stayed with you forever. And he said, how selfish would I be to keep her from the place where she can truly be happy? Would I love her if I did? I don't think so. Help your people succeed. Help them become the ultimate version of themselves, even if that isn't in the right place. And you know what? The other people around your team, they'll thank you for that. They will thank you for getting rid of the people who shouldn't be there, who don't want to be there, because they know it. Everybody in the organization knows when someone isn't a right fit. And unfortunately, as leaders, sometimes we're blinded by it. Those are some of the things that I really enjoy pouring into people. I could talk for another 2 or 3 hours on some of these things, but I'm sure you don't want to hear all of that, right? There's a lot of other speakers coming, a lot of other great people today. Hopefully, some of this was powerful for you. So, in summary, you guys, I want to challenge you to motivate your people with progress charts, games, recognition, and other creative ways. Please, please don't stop motivating your people, but focus on becoming an inspirational leader by giving them resources to succeed, the tools they need to flourish, and caring about their future above all else, even if it means helping them move on. Thank you.